Thank you, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, at the back? Okay. So, this poor fellow here, he's really upset. He's just realised that he's spent a whole lot of money on his website. It's beautiful. The design is fantastic. He's now broke, and he's realised that his website isn't working. Okay? So why isn't his website working? He sent the web designer pages and pages of PDF documents to add as content to his site. Why isn't it working? 20 pages listed on the home page should be fantastic. That's what customers want. Well, is it? So what he needs is content, and he needs good content, and he needs usable content, and he needs relevant content. So we all know what good design is. I'm hoping that we all know what good design is. But what is good content? And what is content? Well, content is a word that has kind of become more fashionable over the years. It's actually just information. So we've had information for years and years. Years and years, plenty of years. But content is really everything else that isn't design. And design can actually be part of your content too. So why is content important? Why does everybody say content is king, content is the new buzzword? Well, it's just a different way of marketing. So if anybody's heard about push or pull marketing, it's more of the pull type of marketing. It's what we call inbound marketing. And the beauty of content and using content to market yourself is that it's applicable for all budgets. So you can start up a company today, and tomorrow you can actually have some content out there. Your clients can do it themselves. You can do it yourself, in the initial stages at least. If you've got a startup company and you've got $200 a month to spend on your marketing, you don't have $1,000 to pay someone to do some blogs for you. Perhaps later you do, but you can actually start off at least by putting some content up on your website. The other beautiful thing about content marketing is that it actually does encourage relationships. It allows you to engage with your customers. It allows you to be seen as human and not just a machine. Content marketing is about stories. Now, people tend to remember stories more than they remember a graph or a set of data or maybe a bit of research they've read. And marketing your content is actually not that bad. It's not that difficult. It's inbound marketing. It's about positioning your products. It's about talking with your customers. And once you've got those relationships going with your customers and you're engaging your customers, you're accelerating the sales cycle. And by accelerating the sales cycle, you actually get your money faster. Okay, and that's pretty good. So instead of waiting for 3 months, you can actually get something done in a shorter period of time. You've got happy clients. Those happy clients tend to cause repeat business for you. It's about keeping those relationships going, and it's about having that engagement. So some examples of content marketing. Ebooks. Ebooks are a great example of content marketing. And the Content Marketing Institute in the States did a bit of testing a while ago, and they compared some call to actions between ebooks and webinars. And what they found was that those people who were promoting ebooks tended to have almost double click-through rate as those advertising webinars. The next thing that people are doing are blogs, and blogs work. A lot of people say, "Oh, I really don't want to do a blog," but they work. They really, really do. And again, there's a lot of research out there to show that. And for example, B2B companies, they generate more leads when they have a blog. And it's not by just 5% or 10%, it's a high percentage. More leads, more sales. Even better if you're a B2C company, so you're marketing directly to your companies, you're looking at an almost 90% increase in your leads by blogging regularly. So it's a pretty big difference. Landing pages, there have been a number of comments made on landing pages. And pretty much the more landing pages you have that are relevant and are useful, the better you're going to be. So you end up with more leads, the more landing pages you have, okay, as long as they are relevant and as long as they're useful. Nurtured leads. So I don't know if you know what nurtured leads are, but I like to think of it as a type of drip feeding your clients. What you're feeding them is information that they've already asked for. So you're not doing a whole spray and miss campaign. What you're doing is you might have had some people signing up for information on SEO, for example. So you provide little bits of information to them. You don't send them a 3-page newsletter on all of your services. You can target them, and there's great software out there that allows you to do that. You can target certain customers for certain topics. And by doing that, you tend to get the information through to them in a way that when they are ready to buy or when they do want to do their website with you, they kind of go, oh yeah, you know the SEO thing? I'll have that as well. So you tend to have bigger sales with that. And now that you've got their website and you're doing their SEO, you could be doing something else for them as well and start drip feeding them that content too. But as long as it's relevant, we've got so much noise in advertising today. Everywhere you go, it's got to be relevant. They have to have asked for it. So traditional marketing versus content marketing. I mean, marketing is marketing, right? Well, I've got a question for you. So, do you want relevant information or do you want intrusions in your day? So we all have intrusions, driving to work in the morning, listening to the radio, watching TV at night. We're being told what to buy. We're being told, even if we have no interest in that product. I know I'd rather buy things when I'm looking for them. I'd rather have that marketing at my fingertips so I can make an informed choice. So I'll tell you a story. I love my Saturday mornings. They're my peace and quiet time. Go to the local coffee shop, grab a latte, my raisin toast, and either read the paper or a book. So a few months ago I was doing this, Indooroopilly Shopping Centre, and then I heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, rush in for discounts. 40% off gold watches, today only, today. Really? Spruikers in the shopping centre? I don't want to buy a gold watch at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I can guarantee that most of the people sitting in the coffee shop were quite enjoying listening to the steam of the machine and smelling the cinnamon from the raisin toast. Not this fellow with actually had a pretty awful voice shouting about gold watches. We couldn't get away from him. There was nothing we could do. So, I tried to think about it and go, well, I don't want a gold watch. Maybe somebody does. But then I thought about it and I thought, well, it's a big ticket item. If I'm going to buy a gold watch, I'm probably going to do a bit of research online first. And for those kind of items, almost 90% of people are doing their research online first. So, I couldn't get away from him. I want the content when I want it. When I want to buy a gold watch, I'm going to look it up myself. I really don't need it shouted at me from all different directions. And that's the thing with traditional marketing. It's become so intrusive into our daily lives. Most people skip TV ads. Half of direct mail that gets sent to your house isn't opened. It only holds your attention for a short period of time, and it's expensive. It doesn't suit everyone. It has its place. Look, I've got banners and brochures and traditional marketing. It works, it does work, but it needs something else. It really does. So Why don't we have both? No, we can. Content marketing is great for small businesses, it's great for startups, but it also grows with you. So as your company grows, your content marketing grows, yeah, you can get a team. There are organizations out there that I'm working with that actually have content marketing teams now. So that's fantastic, that's the holy grail, it's great for me, but you can start off as a startup and you can do this. It's really not that hard. So one of the comments I get a lot is that it takes too much time. I can't do this. Well, my suggestion is write about what you know. My guess is that everybody here is sitting on some content that they don't even know they have. You know, perhaps you've done some A/B testing for a client. You would have done the testing, you would have got the data, you would have done the analysis, and you would have put out some kind of report or given the client some kind of feedback on that. There's your content. There's your content. You've got it sitting there. You need to rejig it. It'll take you 5 minutes and pop it up on your blog. Put a link to it on social media. You know, obviously de-identify all of your customers, but it's a great thing as a case study to use. You really don't need to write the next War and Peace in your blog. You know, keep it short. Use your own style. If you're a chatty type of person, be conversational. If you're a tech person, write lists. People love lists. You know, I bet if I asked everyone here today, give me 3 things, 3 design elements that a website must have, you could tell me that straight away. You've probably written that down somewhere. You've probably answered a question somewhere. It might be on your website under your FAQ section. You know, that's content. You can use that. And your comments may be different. You know, your 3 things might be different to your 3 things. That's okay. They're all relevant and they're all useful. And then we get stuck. Okay, we say, right, Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m., I'm writing my blog. Okay, I've my coffee, sitting down. Oh, what am I going to write about? I can't think of anything. Okay. Some people say go for a walk. Well, if you've only allocated half an hour, no, come back from your walk and you're still stuck. Okay? It may work, it may not. Hop onto Google, search for content idea generators and have a bit of fun with it. Really, you can type in what your industry is, so if you're a web designer, type in web design tricks or something like that, and it'll actually suggest topics for you. And it certainly gets the creative juices flowing. Some of them that come back are really funny. You know, so you have a good laugh and you go, oh, but hold on, that other one was pretty good. And it just helps move your direction and it just helps you with your processing. Answer questions. So when you tell people, hey, I'm a web designer or hey, I'm a programmer, what do they ask you? Probably ask you the same few questions all the time. And you have almost a canned response. Use that. If you're stuck, write that down. Put it into a blog. Give it a headline. What are your staff asking? So if you've got a team, if your staff are constantly asking you the same questions, you can bet that your customers want to know that information too. So answer the questions before they get asked. I think we've probably all done this one, and that is go into the Google search bar and type in how to. And that is heaps of fun. Okay? But it does give you ideas. I do this one all the time. Because if I'm really stuck, and particularly for clients, you know, sometimes it's quite hard to write a story about something that's incredibly technical. But I often get really good ideas from that. And again, there's some weird and wonderful things. So it does help brighten up the workday a little bit. Move with the times. You know, can you comment on something that's happening, current affairs? You're all experts. You must have an expert opinion. It's okay to disagree, but disagree respectfully and make a comment. And the sooner you get in, the better it is for you. But people will see you as an expert then if you're doing credible comments on news sites. Publish links to evidence-based research papers, any new research that's come out in your industry, possibly an institute that's found some new wonderful way of doing things. Link to that. It also shows your clients that you're keeping up to date with things. 2 years ago, you may have been in a very different place to where you are now. Maybe things haven't changed for you, in which case you can actually take something you wrote 2 years ago and say, hey, I was looking at this the other day, things haven't changed. Those same issues still exist, customers still have the same problem, programmers still have the same problem. What do you guys think? Quick, easy content. It's taken you 5 minutes to republish something of your own. If things have changed, question that. Say, well, I thought about this 2 years ago. Things have changed. I now do X, Y, Z instead of A, B, C. Who else has changed? What do you think? Pose that question. Get conversations going. And keeping momentum. Okay, we all go, woohoo, blog, great. I'm going to start a new blog. And then next week we go, oh, God, I don't have time for this. You have to make time. You really do. There's no magic pill. There's some tools that you can use. You can schedule your blogs. You can schedule your social media. You can get experts in, or you can have a combination. So I work for a number of clients where I provide X number of blogs for them a month or X number of social media hours for them, and they do the rest. So we work really well together. So you can do that. But again, it's something people can do themselves. It's something you can tell your clients to do themselves. It doesn't need to be perfect. You can write once, you can publish often in a number of different mediums, so social media, across your blog, on your content page, and keep your personality. Okay? We all get hung up on demographics of our clients. We want to know how old they are, what they eat, where they shop, what they do, and yet they don't know anything about us. So we need to be human as well. We need to get personal with people because we can't engage with people unless we give a little bit of ourselves and allow our personalities to come through. Obviously within reason, but why would anybody want to engage with a formal machine? You're expecting your clients to give you some of them. Why can we not give something of ourselves back? Be personable. If you disagree with something, say so. That's fine. If you're commenting on a forum, that's great. Be respectful, disagree, give the reasons as to why you're disagreeing. Keep your personality consistent. Write according to the way you want to write. A whole lot of voices is actually really good. If you've got a large company and a large team and all contributing to content, as long as you've got some guidelines in place, you end up with a stronger content presence. At the end of the day, we all need a strategy, okay? And when I say strategy, I don't mean a plan. A strategy it identifies your messages, it looks at the governance within your organization, who needs to make the rules, it looks at your return on investment, it looks at your workflow, it looks at what resources that you have available. And your plan then tells you how to do that. So how do you execute that strategy in a step-by-step way? You've got to get usable content, you've got to get useful content. Sorry. Okay, and again, your content's got to be good. It's got to be human. The language that you put into your formal report is not the language that you're going to be using with your clients. They're going to switch off. You're not writing for your boss. Okay? Your boss might think that you're writing for them, And I don't know if anybody of you ever had bosses who like to move commas around and say, well, we don't use things, we utilize things. Well, no, you kind of use them. You don't utilize them. You're not writing for your boss. You're not writing for the board of directors. You're writing for your customer, and they're normal people. Just as much as we want to identify with our customers, they want to identify with us. And in the presentation with Raw Magazine yesterday, it was really interesting because some of the research that they found was that people identify more with everyday people or people that they can aspire to be, possibilities, rather than the celebrities. So people have to be able to identify with you as a human and somebody who they'd meet every day in the street. So some tools. If anybody's interested after the talk, I'm more than happy to take your details down and send you actual links to some of these tools. But there's some great content strategy templates online. And as I say, these are just for your startups, people who can't afford to get the professionals in. It's a great place to start. The Content Marketing Institute has got some fantastic templates. Kevin Nichols has actually got a really good one, it's a simple Excel spreadsheet that's populated with all the things you should be looking at to build your content strategy. Okay? As a small business, you probably don't need all of it, but there's a lot of really good information in there. And if nothing else, it gets you to think. It's kind of like right at the beginning when you were doing your business plan. It makes you think about things. Idea generators, I've spoken about this earlier, but things like Content Ideator, they're great, they get those creative juices flowing, and they're good for a laugh as well, and it does help brighten up your day a little bit. Infographics, so my graphic designer is going to skin me alive for saying this, but you can do DIY infographics, okay? They're not wonderful, they're not as good as what a graphic designer can do, and I'm not claiming that. What I'm saying is if somebody's only got $200 a month and they want to do a little infographic for their Facebook page, instead of them contacting you all the time, you can send them this link and they can do it themselves. So easily, Canva, Infogram, they're pretty good. They're templates, they're quite restrictive, but they're good for startups and they're good for small businesses. They look okay. The same thing for images. Somebody mentioned yesterday that clients love the cheesy stock images. The bigger the smile, the whiter the teeth, clients love them. So there are free stock image libraries out there. One that's pretty good, which is relatively new, is called Death to the Stock Photo. And they've actually got their group of photographers, Death to the Stock Photo. And they send you 10 photographs a month, and they're all contributing photographers. And they're actually trying to get away from that whole cheesy stock photo image. My guess is eventually as they build up their library, there'll be some cheesy ones slipping through, but they're pretty good and they're free. And for your clients who maybe blog once or twice a week, they're good. Again, graphic designer's going to have a go at me, but there's some really simple online image editing tools that you can use. If, for example, you've put up a shop for one of your clients and they've said, I've got a tight budget, no, we're going to add the content, we're going to add the image of our handbags. They're going to ring you and say, I don't have Photoshop, but how do I take the background out? The photograph of my handbag. Say, well, what you do is you go to Bonanza and you can do that there for free. You don't need to have Photoshop. Again, it's a really simple tool to use, and it certainly doesn't have the functionality of Photoshop, and it's certainly not going to produce what a graphic designer can produce. But it gets them over that hurdle, and as their business grows, if you can help them in this stage by just giving them the tools and not spending the time on doing it for them, eventually, they're going to have a bigger business, hopefully, and a more successful business. And they're going to be too busy to do this stuff. and that's when they're going to get the professionals in. Another really good one is PicMonkey. I know if people know that one. It's really good for just compressing images. So when your client says, hey, my homepage isn't loading, I added this image to it and it's just not loading, it's so slow. You go, well, how big was that image you loaded? Oh, I don't know, it was a poster that I took a photo of and I loaded it up and it just takes so long. Okay, well, can you compress the image? You draw a blank. So, you can refer them to PicMonkey. They can resize their images, they can compress them for the web. And finally, I couldn't resist this one, be content with your content. Okay? It's always going to be evolving. It's never going to be perfect. I've been doing communication and marketing and writing for a long, long time, and it's never, ever 100% perfect, because the minute you write something down and the minute you publish it, something else has come out, something else is new, and that's okay. That's fine. You've got to keep current. You've got to keep up to date. But if you're going to wait for that final 5% of perfection, you're not going to get anything done. You're not going to be able to put your content up there. You're not going to be able to help your clients. And you're going to sit with those 20 pages of PDFs that your client wants on their homepage. So be happy with what you've got. Don't be afraid to try new things. For example, if you're out and you see a photo, something you want to take a photograph of that's relevant to your business, take a photo, upload it with a single line. That's content. It doesn't have to be a 3-page. It's preferable it's not 3 pages. But anything that you can do, links to infographics, link to other people. So you can do a list of 7 great WordPress themes, for example. I mean, you're sitting with them in your heads at the moment. Write them down, link to them. It's ideal if you can make a comment on them. If you can't, there's your content. Right? It's not that hard. We all have to do it. And it's really not that hard. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, Jo. We've got a bit of time for some questions, so if you have any questions, raise your hand.
All at once.
Hi, Jo. How do you deal with when you've got to write content for clients for something that you know nothing about?
Okay, it's all in the brief. So I have a very, very comprehensive, I actually use Google Forms for this, list of information. So I draw out of them their main key points, and I go and have conversations with them so that I can help understand, or any of my staff can understand what their messages are. And it's amazing, no matter what it is, often those messages end up being quite similar across organisations. So it's a matter of learning how to write for them. So I've written technical content, really low-end content. It depends on the organisation, but it pretty much is all in the brief, and making sure that you ask the right questions so that you can get that information from the client. Yeah.
Thanks, Jo. What did you do with the 20 PDFs?
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That's an example from a previous. What happened? It's nothing really. Nothing. It's not a real example. I'm using that as it's not a real. It's an example, more of an analogy. But I have heard that so many web designers I speak with have said that it's content that holds them up. They either get no content from their clients, or they get too much content from their clients, and neither one is good. So it's about educating the clients. And we had a question earlier about what do you do first? Do you get the copy from the client, or do you do the design first? And from my perspective, I actually think you need to have both people working together. you need to have your copywriter and your content writer working together with the web designer. And I've just found that that works so much better because if you've got a design page that only allows that much content and your client sends you that much content and all of it is important, all of it is always really, really important to the client, it's no good. You end up redesigning things. So it's really important, I think, that both people work together. And I think it's the same. It's at the same time. And your clients, you cannot carry on doing your design unless your clients have given you that content.
I've noticed over the last couple of years that images are becoming more and more important. I call them the Instagram generation.
Yeah.
Like, they don't use Facebook, that's for old people. Are you finding in your business that you're doing more and more image generation than copywriting?
No, not at all actually. So certainly images have become more important and images themselves do need to complement the text and vice versa. But no, I find that everybody can write, absolutely. Not everybody can write well, and not everybody has the time to write. So I've actually found the opposite, is that the demand for writing has actually increased. Yeah.
Any more questions? I guess not. Let's have another round of applause for Joe.
Thank you.